Cope, Cope.
Okay. So what part of the military were you in?
Army.
Army, all right. What made you enlist?
I was proud of my little brother for enlisting. Went to watch his basic training graduation and thought it was really awesome.
What's the most important thing you learned while in the military?
What's the most what now?
Important thing you learned while in the military.
The important thing
The most important thing you
when
learned. Yeah.
the most important thing that I did in the military?
Learned. Like,
Learned. Oh, the most important thing I learned. Gosh, man, I don't know. How to shoot, move, and communicate's one of them. But really, like lifelong lessons, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to say, gosh, how about we'll go with discipline.
All right.
We'll go with discipline, punctuality, things like that. How to be on time and how good it looks when you can be on time and how shitty it looks when you're not.
All right. What regiment were you in?
Regiment, I was in Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 29th Infantry Regiment.
All right. What was basic training like?
Basic training was really bad. You don't get to rest. You don't get to talk. You don't get to eat. You don't get to do anything unless they tell you to. And it's very exhausting. Really, really exhausting. But it's great to write letters home to family and get letters from home.
What kind of activities do you guys do during training?
During basic training, first they teach us how to march. They teach us how to look alike, how to maintain like that appearance, that military appearance, the uniformity between everyone, how to basically line up correctly and everyone looks exactly the same. That's like the first part. The second part of basic training, they teach you how to use your weapons. They teach you weapon safety, and that's what everyone learns. And then my third part of basic training, since I was an infantryman, was more geared towards combat. So you go toss grenades and you go through a gas chamber and a lot of ruck marching and a lot of running. A lot.
Do you remember your instructors?
Absolutely. Drill Sergeant Velez, V-A-L-E-Z, Drill Sergeant Gordon, G-O-R-D-O-N, and Drill Sergeant Hewlin, H-U-L-I-N.
What were they like?
Drill sergeants. Drill Sergeant Gordon, tall, black guy, been to war about 3 or 4 times, and he was very intense, always cussing, always screaming and yelling. But he was very good at his job. He wasn't just screaming and yelling for no reason. He would smoke the hell out of us, like make us do push-ups for hours and hours and hours, and I used to get really mad about it until I looked up one day when we were doing push-ups and I realized that he was doing every single one of them with us. And I wasn't so mad anymore. That was Drill Sergeant Gordon. Drill Sergeant Velez had little man syndrome. He was like a small dude. He would scream and yell at us just because it was fun, and he wouldn't do any other exercises with us. He was lazy. And then Drill Sergeant Hewlin, he showed up about halfway through our basic, and he was more laid back, more relaxed. Instead of punishing us with physical activities, he would make us do like stupid stuff like march around the barracks to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or I'm a Barbie girl, to punish us and make us feel stupid, you know. But we laughed at that guy. He was more funny and he was more lenient, and yeah, I don't know, he was easier going, but
Yeah.
I don't know. His methods were, I don't know. He's the kind of dude that you want to fight for, not the one that they're making you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's the one that everybody liked.
How did you get through training?
For me, a lot of it was letters home, writing home and waiting for a reply, and knowing that my family was proud of me, knowing that people were at home thinking of me. Also, every Sunday at church, they let you go to whatever service you'd like to go to, whatever religion you are. I went to church every Sunday, and I got to play piano during the collection plate. When they were passing around the collection plate, they let me play piano every week, and I've been playing my entire life, so it really gave me I guess it gave me like a shred of light, you know, a shred of hope, like I'm still me, I'm still able to do my stuff, and, you know, I don't know, it was just a good reminder of home, so that really kept me sane. And basically all of us, what we did, people that don't have piano to lay back on or whatever, we would count down until our next meal, pretty much. You look at your watch, our meals are pretty scheduled every day, and a lot of people get through the day just by thinking, okay, man, cool, only one more hour until we get to sit down for a second and eat, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people did, is they'd count down, okay, only 2 more hours till our next meal, and that was, you just have to have something to look forward to, or else you'll freak out.
What was your job or assignment?
I enlisted as an infantryman, which was, at the time, it was 11 X-ray because I had an airborne contract. So I was an airborne infantryman, but then my unit, when I got to my first unit, my actual duties were different than that of an infantryman. We tested and evaluated new weapons, equipment, technology, and that's what our company did as a whole. However, my job within that company was to be a machine gunner. So I was an M240 Bravo machine gunner that also tested weapons, equipment, and technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you stationed at after training?
Actually, I was stationed in the same place throughout training and then after. I went to my basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia, which is where every infantryman goes. And then after Fort Benning, Georgia, I went to airborne school, which was in Fort Benning, Georgia. And that lasted 3 weeks. And after you're done with all your training, they give you your orders. And your orders tell you where you're going to be stationed. My orders told me I was going to be stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. So I was stationed on Harmony Church in Fort Benning, Georgia.
What did you do for fun during your time in the service?
I mean, while I was off work, I would go play some pool with friends, hang out with my wife, watch TV, play video games, the same stuff a normal person would do. Before I was married and I still lived in the barracks, I would, it was basically after work in the evenings or on the weekends, we just go hang out in somebody's barracks room and play video games, or my buddy had a guitar and I'd bring my keyboard over to his room and we'd play, or, jam out. And that was when I was off work. But when I was at work, what I did for fun was shot my machine gun and lit forests on fire and threw grenades and blew stuff up. It was fun just working.
Yeah. I'm trying to read my questions, sorry.
Very well prepared questions, man.
Yeah. What was the food like?
The food. Oh man, DFAC, which it's DFAC, and that stands for Dining Facility. The food in the dining facility, I thought it was incredible. I loved it. Breakfast was the best. It's only like $2 or $3, and you get basically any kind of eggs you want. You can get scrambled, hard-boiled. You can get over easy, anything. You can get an omelet.
Yeah.
So you get eggs. You get either bacon, sausage, or ham. So they give you one of each. They'll give you, your eggs. Then they'll give you one kind of meat. They'll give you one kind of starch. So you can either get like potatoes or, hash browns or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole fruit bar, man. Breakfast is one of the things I will miss about the Army. Was the DFAC breakfast. It was incredible, man.
How was
the food was so good that I gained 65. Or I'm sorry, the food was so good that I gained 35 pounds while I was in. So yeah.
How about lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner. Basically it was cafeteria food, with the small difference that it's pretty much the same thing they'll serve in any sort of public school. But these are high-calorie, low dehydration meals that really stick to you.
Yeah.
So taste kind of goes out the window a little bit. I mean, it's good because you're hungry, but it's good for you, pretty much. That food that they give you is designed to really stick to you, not digest too fast, and that way you have energy for everything you need to do that day, and you do a lot, So the meals were really, really heavy.
Okay. Do you recall any funny or humorous events that happened during your time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, school appropriate?
Don't even worry about school appropriate.
Okay. It's not really, let's see. I'm trying to think of one really good one. Hodges. Hodges was just a funny thing that happened. This guy that I met named Hodges, man, he was just one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Almost everything he ever said or did was just hilarious, and he wasn't even trying. He was like I don't know, down home, like country boy, He said winder and tornado and tomato and diarrhea. And he was a terrible hunter, okay? Like, he was really bad at hunting, but he loved hunting. So one day, he would always get drunk and fall out of his tree stand because he was kind of an alcoholic. But basically, he couldn't get any rabbit. It was rabbit season, so he asked our first sergeant, hey, where's a good place to get rabbit? First sergeant tells him, I don't know, Petco? He didn't know he was talking about hunting. So anyway, Hodges actually went to Petco adopted a rabbit, fed it, plumped it up, and then, a couple weeks later took it outside, killed it, and skinned it and ate it. So, and Hodges is, he's just a country boy, and to him that was okay. But but it wasn't to anybody else. We were all kind of horrified by it, and basically Petco called him to say, hey, how are you and your rabbit doing? Because he adopted this rabbit. He didn't just buy a rabbit; he adopted this thing. And Petco says, how are you and the rabbit getting along? And Hodges said, it was delicious. And the people at Petco, they were like, by law, you're not supposed to eat the animals that you adopt. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was just kidding. But long story short, our first sergeant told him he was never allowed into Petco as long as he was in the Army ever again. So. That's only one Hodges story, man. If you had more time, I'll tell you a million. That guy was just hilarious.
All right, keep him coming.
Another time, Hodges is, just to give you a picture, he's a small dude, really, really skinny guy. Skinny to the point where he's like a chihuahua that's scared. You know how they shake?
Yeah.
He's like that skinny. And there's always something wrong with him. He smokes like a chimney, and he's always dipping. He'll be like chewing and smoking at the same time. And basically, he comes into work one day, into the company, blue. His skin was like a bluish tint. He almost looked purple. It was weird. So, Hodges, like I said, he was always sick, or he always had something wrong with him. So our first sergeant was done, like, dicking around with him. So he says, you know what, hey, get your team leader. I want your team leader to take you to the hospital, and they're going to run every single test on you to find out what the hell's wrong with you. Not just this blue. I want to find out everything that's wrong with you and why you're blue today. Like, what the hell's going on? Goes to the doctor. He's at the hospital all day, and we see him come back to the company in the truck with his team leader, and his team leader was not happy. And as soon as Hodges got out of the truck, you could tell the team leader just got done messing him up because he was sweating real bad. And anyway, the team leader walks over just really mad, and we were like, so what's wrong with Hodges? And they were like, dude, he just got new bed sheets last night, and he didn't wash them, and he sweat on them, and they're blue. So basically, they thought something was really wrong with this guy when really he was just dyed blue from his bed sheets. But yeah, that dude was messed up, man.
Seems like it.
For sure. What else you got?
Any other funny stories or anything like that?
Let's see. In basic training, there was a Private Lamb. This guy, he was a mouth breather, he's always mouth open, breathing real loud and stuff, like that dude on Hey Arnold or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like that, and he was really nerdy and weird and not very smart, but he was strong, so he did well. But basically, we have wet weather gear that you wear when it's raining, and the pants that you wear, it's like a raincoat, You don't just wear a raincoat when it's raining. You wear clothes underneath it,
Yeah.
Well, he didn't wear any pants under his wet weather pants, because he's just dumb. And whenever we go to a range and we shoot live ammunition, one of the things you have to do after you've shot live ammunition is, if you're wearing wet weather bottoms, you have to pull them down so that the drill sergeant can get to your pants, and he pats all your pockets. He does a little frisk on you to make sure you didn't keep any bullets from the range.
Yeah.
Because there's been some people that keep bullets from the range and they come back to the barracks and kill themselves with them, but basically they have to do what's called a brass and ammo check to make sure you don't have any brass or ammo on you. And if you're wearing any wet weather gear, you have to remove that before they frisk you. So it's time to frisk us, and we're all pulling our wet weather pants down so he can see our regular pants and see our pockets, and Lamb didn't pull his down. We're all getting ready because the drill sergeant's going to be over there any minute, and we're like, come on, man, pull those off, dude. He's going to come over. He's going to yell at us. We're all going to get in trouble because you look different than everybody. And he's like, dude, I can't. And we said, why not? And he's like, I'm not wearing any pants under him. And dude, like the pockets on these things, these wet weather pants, the pockets aren't even real pockets. They're just slits that are cut in there so you can reach the pockets that are under them in your pants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're asking him, like, what did you think those slits were for? Like, why the hell aren't you wearing pants? He's like, I didn't know. So we had to make, like, a decision real quick because we were about to get messed up because he's out of regulation. He didn't do what he was supposed to. And when one person messes up, everybody. So we're trying to think of a solution, like, what should we do? And we're like, just leave him on, man. Maybe he'll just not ask you to take him down or whatever. So he leaves him on, and he gets closer and closer to Lamb, going down the line, frisking everybody, and he gets to Lamb, and he starts frisking his upper torso, like his shoulders. He's checking his shoulder pockets, and he gets down to his wet weather pants, and he's like, Private, take off your pants. Take off your wet weather pants. and you don't say no to drill sergeants, you know, but Lamb, he's scared. He doesn't know what to do. He's about to get in trouble. So he's like, I can't, drill sergeant. And the drill sergeant's like, what the fuck do you mean you can't? And he's like, I can't. And he's like, I'm going to give you 3 seconds. I just told you to do something. You're going to do it. He's like, if I tell you to fly, you better fucking learn how. You know, like I can't isn't an answer. So he said, I can't. I said, Private, I'm not going to ask you again. So Lamb pulls his pants down, and he's standing there in his tan tighty whities. And the drill sergeant, they're not really supposed to laugh at you. You know, they're not supposed to laugh in front of you. They're not supposed to have emotions except anger and, you know.
Yeah.
So he lost it, man. He just started laughing his ass off. And Lamb goes to pull his pants, the drill sergeant is like, go show, and he points to another drill sergeant, you know, about football field away. He's like, go show drill sergeant Hewlin. And Lamb started to pull his pants up. He's like, no, leave him around your ankles and go show him. So for a football field, Lamb had to walk with his wet weather pants around his ankles and his tidy whities over to another drill sergeant. And then you just hear a roar of laughter from that side. And then that drill sergeant tells him to go show another drill sergeant with his pants around his ankles. And it was pretty funny, man.
Did you have anyone in the service you didn't like?
Oh, yeah, plenty. A lot of them were my, believe it or not, my supervisors. We call them team leaders. Basically, first I was a private, and then you make it up to private first class, and then after that you're a specialist. Well, you're always going to have a sergeant in charge of you. And a lot of these sergeants joined when they were about 18 years old, and they grew up in the Army, and they believed that being a man was yelling and screaming at people and making everybody's lives hell, and they thought that being a man was just being a soldier, and there's two separate things. So basically, the people that I had the most trouble with, I joined a little late. I joined when I was 24. So I had some people in charge of me that were like 18, 19, and they hadn't fully matured yet, or they had fully matured and they just matured in the wrong direction, you know, like the Army mentality rather than just being a decent human. And it's almost like they live to see other people suffer. Like, it'd be a boring day where we don't have any training or anything like that. So some of these sergeants would come into the bay where all of us lower enlisted were sitting and play games with us pretty much. One of them would ask us a question and we'd answer it, and then it's a definite question. You know, he'd be like, "You think I'm cute?" It's like, "No, negative, drill sergeant," or "Negative, sergeant." And then he'd be like, "Oh, you don't think that?" And I don't know. Basically, they present you with these no-win situations, and then smoke the hell out of you for no reason because they're bored, and I don't like that. You know.
Yeah.
I understand. You know, doing a punishment if I did something wrong. I understand working out to get bigger, but these guys would come in and sadistically just, you know, make people torture themselves doing push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups just for their own amusement, and those are the kind of people I didn't like.
Yeah. How was transitioning from being in the service to just regular civilian life?
For me, I don't think it was too hard, because like I said, I joined when I was 24, so I was already I had already adulted a lot before I joined the Army. I lived in my own place, worked a bunch of different jobs. You know, I had bartended and I had done heating and air conditioning and all sorts of stuff. So getting out, the only transition I really had to make was create a new budget. The schedule was different. I had to, it wasn't too hard. But for someone who joins at 18, never really worked before, comes fresh out of high school and joins, it's probably a lot harder for them because now for the first time in their life, they're 100% on their own. Because when you're in, you're taken care of. You're told where you need to be. You're told what you need to be wearing. You're told everything ahead of time, and you know what to expect, and you know what's expected of you. And when you're on your own, paying your own bills, paying your own rent, you're on your own. And a lot of people have trouble with that. A lot of people. And also, I wasn't deployed. I had never deployed, so I never really, I never had to do some of the things that a lot of people had to do that they have to live with in a civilian, situation afterwards. So I can see where a lot of people might have trouble with their transition, but mine was pretty easy.
Okay.
Mine was pretty smooth.
What benefits do you receive as a veteran?
I'm sorry?
What benefits do you receive as a veteran?
Right now, I'm receiving my post 9/11 GI Bill, and that's paying for me to go to college. It's paying for ranking, which is about $7,500 a semester. So you spend I think you have to spend I might not have the right numbers, but I think it's a year to 2, maybe 3 years of active duty. And if you do 3 years of active duty, they'll pay for your college for 36 months.
Okay.
And those are the only benefits I'm receiving right now. I could go and apply for disability. That's a benefit that's offered. I had a shoulder surgery while I was in, so basically, if I wanted to, I could go to the VA and apply for disability. I haven't done that.
Okay. Yeah, that's about it, Kevin.
Cool, man. Yeah, you had some loaded questions, and they're pretty good ones.
Yeah, we had this whole entire draft thing get approved by our teacher, so
Oh, I got you.
had to make it look somewhat professional.
For sure. So I'm guessing.
If you can, send me the pictures with you with the machine guns.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll send you a few. I'll send you those, and I'll even send you the one with the XM25, and it's pretty cool.
Okay. Thanks for your time, man.
Awesome. Hey, no problem, dude. I hope you do well on your assignment, and I'll send those pictures in about a few minutes.
Okay, thanks. See you next Tuesday at work.
All right, man. For sure.
Yeah.
See you.